President Ken, fellow Lions and friends and guests. I'm just happy to be here. I've been out for the last 4 weeks. Had a doctor's appointment in Portland last week and found out I can't get a hearing aid without surgery, so I guess I'm happy about that. Anyway, who's happier than me? Who's got money to show? Nobody's happy. Okay, good night, everyone. Anyone got money today? Any happiness? We're going to have to go to row 2 for happiness.
What the heck's going on?
There's no happiness up here.
No partying.
I'm covering for Doug for the first 2 weeks in February.
Program.
Okay. Council Chair John Keary is coming on the 12th. Just so you know, is there any particular topic that you would like to talk about?
I want to have a foot for you. Titanium foot.
Anyway, can't go lines and gas. You know, I realized over the years I've been tired for a long time.
The
But I found out
importance
this weekend I'm officially
of being proud to
retired.
be alive.
Okay.
He just touched up briefly
Very
down
good.
there at the, when we had the ceremony at Cascadia. That was very good. The importance of being proud of being alive.
I noticed that
That's going to be on the 12th.
Governor Jim Reineke isn't here today. I guess that makes George the ugly one.
I am Dolly Harvey.
K-I-R-R-Y.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, here's a very happy, joyous dollar. Number 1, Doug has been here, he's teaching class.
Good.
Number 2,
Thank you.
Doug yesterday at
Appreciate it.
10:01 p.m. last night became a proud great-grandfather.
Hey, what's the name?
Cooper, named Cooper. Well, I kind of guess that makes me that's pretty good.
Brian Mayor Patterson. Zone there.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, I'm just happy to see all of you and my good friends and a couple of visitors that I know, JD and Monty.
Very good. George Moore looks like he's packing a little dough today. He must have some happiness to share.
Rebuttal, yeah. King Lion King, fellow Lions, I guess. I might be the ugliest one, but that's just because Greg didn't look in the mirror. Anyway, happy dollar. Had a nice, beautiful 4 days down to the beach. It was 56 degrees yesterday, hard to come home.
Cindy Sessions.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, one, I have an extremely happy dollar. For those of you that I haven't told, Tracy McDaniel got the lab results back today and she is cancer-free. 2, I still have a football team in the Super Bowl. The Saints are gonna go marching on.
Who was our team this time? That was
Anybody up here yet find some happiness? Jim? He looks happy, but no money.
what were the biggest odds?
How do we walk by Mark Hill? Fly Mark.
Easy to ignore. President Ken, fellow Lions and guests. Very happy dollar. My birth sister came for a visit for the weekend with her husband and had a great weekend. So.
Well, Hal looks happy and he's packing money, so why in hell?
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, just to let you know, I'm very happy that I'm going to be covering for Doug Harvey the first 2 weeks in February on the programs. And the second week, we have our council chairman, John Keary, coming down to speak to us from local District 19 Lions. Does that leave it? Okay. Hey, which Washington team won their bowl game? I'm confused again. Does anybody remember? Yeah.
Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Cougs.
Go Cougs. Oh.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, I'm just happy to be here, healthy, no colds or flu, and it's great to see all my friends.
We're good to see you.
Brother David looks like he's got a little bit of happiness to share.
Oh, yeah.
You got your haircut since I saw you last day.
Hope he feels all right.
This is $1 for, it's $1 for,
President who?
President Ken, yes, I'm getting to it. President Ken, fellow Lions, and honored guests, all of you are honored guests. Each and every one of you are honored, as far as I'm concerned. I'm happy to see all of you after missing last month with the back cold. I'm about 90%, and it doesn't mean I don't still blow the nose, but I'm here. And I hope there's a lot of happiness here. And I'm just hoping that everybody's well as far as health and jobs and what have you. But this is what I'm happy with. I'm going to try to do this without emotion. I'm going to just go ahead and run with it. I'm so happy, and here's the reason why. Jesus took my burdens all away. Once my life was full of sin and strife, now I'm singing as it does go by. Jesus, happy birthday.
Hey, you're a lot better singer than that gray-haired chick that was here a couple weeks ago. I think we can carry this. How's it going, John? Gloria Lee.
Good morning, President Kim,
Where'd your go?
fellow Lions, and honored guests. Happy dollars because we woke up today.
Go get him and tell him to come sit up here. He's gonna be first
I'm
on the
happy.
agenda.
That's a good reason to be happy right there.
You don't want him to sit up here. You don't want him up here because he'll have
That would be too much for that.
to get up and move.
He can move after he talks.
President Kim, guests and members, I have $1 because I made it here. I thought I would get off my seat for 2 weeks, but here I am.
Good to have you here. Well, you look like you have a lot of happy dollars right here. Any more happy dollars? Bob.
President Ken, fellow members and guests, happy dollar for all the help putting all the Christmas stuff away into the cargo
Vice
container
Chair.
Saturday. Thanks.
We need
Thank you, Bob.
an application.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, this is a sad dollar. Angel, who's been serving you ice cream today, is moving to Vancouver, so today is her last day.
Where is she? Looks like she already left.
Steve, you have to stand up to see where she's at.
Lionsville.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests, I have three very, very, very happy dollars here. One is regarding Hal made reference to the football program at the Evergreen State College. There was some concern that Evergreen might cancel its football program because of the 85 scholarship recipients. There were some positive drug tests. But there were only 84, and that left the kicker, and they decided they could rebuild around him. Secondly, I got, received in the mail from my brother some letters that I had sent my mom and dad years ago. And in there was a letter from Bobby Matilla, who was a friend and board member of the Humane Society here, who passed away in December. And she said some things to my parents about me that were truly, truly humbling. And I didn't cry when she passed away, but I sure cried when I saw that letter. It was very good. And finally, I have a little bit of a story from the bell ringing. Now, I know there have been some concerns about salty stories. This one isn't salty. It might be a little suggestive, but it's not salty. At the bell ringing, there was a volunteer who was assigned to work with a employee from the Salvation Army, and he was young and good looking, and she was young and good looking, and they got along very, very well. So afterwards, they agreed to go have a drink, and they agreed to go have dinner, and they agreed to go have a nightcap, and they agreed to go up to his apartment. Anyway, things were going really, really well. And as they were getting close to the nitty-gritty, she said, "By the way, are you married?" And he said, "Yes, I am." "Any children?" 7. She started putting her clothes back on, and he said, "What are you doing?" She said, "The Salvation Army helps the needy, not the greedy."
Alrighty, any other happy dollars before we hit the president's table? See him? You got one?
Here, save your trip today.
Steve Patterson.
President Ken, if you'll scoop down just a little bit, I'll be taller to you.
You'd have to sit down.
There we go. There we go. President Ken Lyons and Getz, a happy dollar, took the bride to the beach for a few days and to celebrate our 48th wedding anniversary. Oh, Dena.
President Ken and Lion Club members, thank you for having me here today. My happy dollar is I get to speak to all of you, so thank you.
I have 2 happy dollars. Who's that for? You?
That's right, no, he's paying me
That's a
off.
refund on your car.
That's a refund on the car. Thank you. Now it's only $8,776 more dollars.
Just for you, buddy.
I've got 2 happy dollars. First of all, I'm very excited about a lot of things that the Lions Club has been noted for lately. A lot of people have talked in the community about some of the beautiful things taking place, especially Lions Island at the lake. That has taken the pride of people even in Vancouver. So thank you very much for all of those who worked on the Lions Island. The second happy dollar is I am so happy and tickled pink to be married to a lady that is very demanding. We got up this morning and left our house, walked to the corner cafe for breakfast, walked to the Lions meeting, so far about 4 miles. My only problem is, now I gotta walk back home.
Need a ride?
Remember the way?
With that, called me to go.
Need a ride, Marty?
Invocation by Larry Hanson.
Our Heavenly Father, again, we come before you, praise and thanks for the wonderful this day, and blessing and gathering here for the purpose you call us as lives, to serve the community. So we ever mindful of that call. So we go forth and we think about food and our spot this life for us. We thank you, Lord, that you prepared it and you serve it. In all things, we praise and glorify you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Tom Fulton with our flag salute.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the opening song by Zone Chair Merlin Patterson.
My country is of thee, sweet land of liberty.
Thank you. And our introduction guest, Bob Jessen.
Mr. President, fellow members, and distinguished guests, we have a couple in the house today. From the Kalama Lions, past district governor, Monty Hall. Monty, stand up.
Stand up, Monty.
And then also we have from Vancouver, Vice Council Chair, J.D. Miller.
That's all the guests for today? So many members. I have one quick announcement that I want to get out before we get towards the end of the meeting. Immediately after this meeting, over here by the, whatever's covered up, there will be a past president's meeting. Don't forget, all past presidents, please, over here immediately after the close of this meeting. Zone report, Marilyn Patterson and Cindy Pickett.
President Ken, fellow Lions and guests. On the zone, I just want to remind you that a week from Thursday, which is January 24th, Castle Rock Lions will be hosting the next zone meeting. And a reminder on that location, I gotta go look over here.
Lutheran Church.
Yeah, St. Paul Lutheran Church. That's not where they usually meet, so I just wanted to remind you of that. Also, I just want to remind you that the Learning Forum is coming up March 2nd. And I have flyers and application forms. You can also register online. And I might as well do Education Committee while I'm here. Education Committee meeting next Tuesday, January 22nd, after the club meeting. So if you're on my Education Committee, plan to attend.
And while Marilyn's standing, I would like to invite all the club. You know, it's not often that we get a dynamic zone leader that is really pulling all the clubs in the whole zone together. What a terrific opportunity we have to go just a short distance to Castle Rock. The dinner is $12 and it begins at 6 or 6:30. What a terrific time for this entire club to show up and make them know that this is a proud club for their zone leader. So I invite all of you to join everybody a week from this coming Thursday at St. Paul's Lutheran Church. I forgot who the saint was. Anyhow, it would be terrific to get up there and wear your yellow jacket or shirt and come up there with a hell of a roar to show the appreciation we have for our zone leader.
That's great. I believe we have at least 10 signed up. We could certainly have more. I talked to President Clarence this week and he said if he needed to, he could seat 100 people.
So 96 will be from Longview. Cindy?
President Kim, members and guests, there is a sign-up sheet for the zone chair meeting for next week, so be sure to sign that so we can have a head count. And there's going to be a Valentine's party February 15th, so there's a sign-up sheet over there for that too. It's $15 with dinner, and we'll have some entertainment. It'll be kind of the same format we did for Christmas, so if you'd like to attend, it's going to be here. 6 o'clock social, 7 o'clock dinner, 8 o'clock entertainment, but I'd be cute. So, chicken cardamom blues, salad green beans, and cake that's cooked with strawberry jello with whipped cream frosting, and an open bar. So, anything else? Thanks.
Thank you. Lions Island report, Greg Firth.
President Ken, fellow Lions guests, this report on taking the Christmas lights from Lions Island back to the building. We had 11 people out there. I'm going to read their names. Dan Twist, Doug Harvey, Walt Speck, Mike Firth, Bob Jessen, Greg Swanson, Tom Fulton, Bob Speck, Louis Pickett, Herb Stein, and myself. And I especially want to recognize Bob Jessen and Tom Fulton and Louis Pickett. Those three guys in that box, and I didn't think we could get it all in there.
Thank you. If any of you are here, please stand up for a moment. Let the rest of the club know who you are. Stand up, that we're on that cleanup committee. Thank you all very much. It's really, that island is something special in the community. Shop and building, Tom Fulton or Louis? Tell us what's going on with the shop. The shop is still there. Neither one of you have a comment on the new box that is there to store all the equipment in and all the Christmas decorations. We now have a major box sitting beside the shop that takes care of all that. Louis, thank you.
President Ken, fellow guests and members, yes, we bought a storage box. It's a 20-foot long storage box. Right now it's blue, but this summer, spring, we're going to paint it gray to match the building, so nobody get excited about that part of it. We got everything in there, but the big snowman, but I think we can get that in there too.
And Bob Jessen, you have a comment about something we're selling?
President Ken, fellow members and guests, we're going to do a little experimenting this weekend out at Walmart, Ocean Beach, from 1 to 4 on Friday and 1 to 4 on Saturday. We've got a new sealer that we've never used. We want to try that out. We're going to make a few extra flavors and see how that goes. And we're going to try our new kettle corn machine out. So maybe drop by and buy a bag.
Where's that going to be?
Walmart, Ocean Beach, 1 to 4 Friday and Saturday.
Thank you. For all of you that want to see the new kettle corn machine that the guys put together and some of the weird flavors they come up with, that'd be a good time to go out and take a look at it and see what's going on with it. Greg, do we have anything outside the hearing? Nothing outside in the hearing.
You're gonna get on there early.
Kathy Carmody, Leroy, or Cindy, you want to give any more details on this Valentine's dance or party? Nothing. $15 on the 15th?
Can we pay at the door?
Steve wants to know if he can pay at the door. No, Steve, you have to pay ahead of time.
Okay.
Everybody else can pay at the door. Okay, sign-up sheet is over here for that. The sign-up sheet for the dinner that we would like to have as many people attend possible this coming a week from this Thursday. In Castle Rock for his own chair. Please be there for it. That it?
Wow.
At this time, I would like a good round of applause and a welcome for our Vice Council Chair, J.D.
JD.
J.D. Naylor has several comments. You can clap as you come up this way, J.D.
You have the podium, Buster.
There is a tradition that we clap as they walk up.
King Lion, President Ken, I guess. Well, that's how you guys do it, right?
Yeah.
You don't do the king stuff?
Internationally recognizes the term president.
Wow, okay, well, fellow guests and fellow Lions, it's always great to come and visit the most generous Lions Club I know. And Tuesday, Anyway, I've already passed out, we have a couple of things for you. I've already passed out a celebration that the Vancouver Lions, my club is having on February 16th. And that is down in Vancouver. That's our 90th anniversary. We keep trying to catch up with you guys, but we can't seem to do it. I don't know what the problem is here. So anyway, that is our 90th anniversary. We were the first Lions Club in Vancouver, Clark County.
and continue to be the oldest one, obviously. Our sponsor was the Portland Downtown Club. So we would love to have as many of you come as you can. Details are on the information sheet. It's $40. We'll be at the Red Cross building, which is in the barracks off of Evergreen Boulevard on Barnes Road. The other thing that you'll see on there is that part of the thing that you get for an admission is a ticket to about the 70th annual 2 Tickets to Paradise, the Hawaii raffle that we do every year about this time. And I come over here every year to harass you about. And so I have Hawaii raffle tickets. And I was noticing that nobody from the Longview Pioneer Lions ever won this raffle, and 3 people from the Fort Vancouver Lions have won this raffle. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. So I'd love to see somebody from this club win that prize. It's 7 days, 7 nights, 8 days at the Waikiki Sheraton in Honolulu. $250 spending money, airfare, lodging, all paid for. Love to have one of you win the thing. So I'm going to start. I'm going to hand these out. It's kind of like you just fill out your name. Tickets are $5 a piece. Well, they're a donation of $5. Or a bikini pack, which is $5 for $20, saves you $5. So I'm going to hand these out, and I'll just pick them up at the end of the meeting. Questions?
You want to take those around for him? Just give him that, I'll take that. That all you had to talk about?
That's all I had to talk about.
We need to have a deep discussion of why nobody in Longview has ever won all these tickets and we keep spending money on them. And nobody ever sends us a thank you from this club sending all of you folks to Hawaii.
They can't remember he's an attorney.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've had that experience before. With that, it's my honor and privilege to introduce our program chair, Steve Patterson. Stand up again, Steve. Who will introduce our guest speaker for today. Thank you.
Thank you, President Ken. It is indeed a pleasure. I've gotten to know through email and telephone conversations one of the newer members of the PUD Commission, and that's Dena Diamond-Ott. She is our guest speaker today. She is from Kalama, lives with her husband Dennis, has 2 children, older than me. No.
Yeah, right. Taller than you, Steve. Taller.
They're not raising their 2 children, let's put it that way. So they're up and gone. They own the Double D Feed and Hardware in Kalama. Dena has spent her career working in customer service, both at a corporate setting and as a business owner-operator. She's very involved in her community and has served on the Kalama Planning Commission and on the board for the Kalama Chamber of Commerce. Since becoming a commissioner, she was elected president of the board in 2015 and has continued that role for 4 years. She's been a member of the Cowlitz Council of Governments, a voting member of American Public Power Association, and she works with our local Washington state and federal legislators on electrical issues that concern our community. In 2018, she was elected chair of the Energy Committee for the Washington State Public Utility District Association, which provides her opportunity to help shape our state electrical legislation. We have one ambitious young lady here today, and would you give a warm Lions welcome to Dena Diamond-Ott from the Cowlitz PUD.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That was a little longer than I intended. I'm going to make sure that works. Okay, we're good. It times out every once in a while. So again, my name is Dena Diamond-Ott. I'm one of the Cowlitz PUD board members, and I would like to thank you for having me here today. We have a lot of legislative issues coming up in this session, as we have had for the last couple of years. So that's what I would like to talk to you about today. In 2015, carbon became a very, very hot topic. And we recognized at Cowlitz PUD that it wasn't really going to go away. So people were talking about reducing carbon emissions by a cap and trade or a carbon tax or more renewables, or we even heard no new natural gas. And so as Cowlitz, we thought, what are all these things going to do to us? What's it going to do to our reliability? And what is actual scientific fact? We didn't want to lead with our hearts and what we believed in, which might be good or bad for the environment. We wanted to know scientifically what was the least cost way to reduce carbon. So we commissioned E3. It's a company out of California, and we asked them to study this issue. We wanted them to tell us scientifically what was the least cost way to reduce carbon emissions and what was the effect on our community going to be. This was not something that we were heading. It wasn't a charge that Cowlitz PUD took on. We just knew we had to find the answers because it was coming our way, and so we wanted to be completely prepared. As I said, Washington and Oregon legislators were pretty much following California. They were talking about levels of reducing carbon in Washington by 80% below the 1990 levels, and in Oregon by 91% by 2050, excuse me. And as you can see on this slide here, Washington and Oregon are well below the rest of the country in carbon emissions. Here we are thinking, we're hydro, we're clean, we're renewable, and you want us to do more. Okay, what's that look like? These are the reference cases that we studied, or that we had studied by this E3 group, because these were the things that the legislation was talking about. We didn't choose them. This is what was being talked about at our legislative level. So the first case, I guess I have to confess, was not really being talked about because this is do nothing. This is continue with the current state policy. Do not add any more policy or any more costs onto what we're doing. Let's just continue with the current laws that we have in place. The second one was a carbon cap. And as you can see, 40, 60, and 80% greenhouse gas reductions were being talked about. The third is a tax. The governor had a bill last year, it didn't go through, and the legislation kind of tweaked it, it didn't go through, but basically it's a price on carbon. The fourth was RPS, that's renewables. A lot of people in the community wanted to increase our renewable energy, wind, solar, storage, talk about batteries. So they were saying this is the best way for us to go forward. And the last one is no new gas. A lot of people were saying it is an emitting generation source, so they wanted to wipe that out completely. Here are your results of that study. On the left side here, this is in millions of dollars per year that each of these scenarios will add to our current costs. On the bottom, it's the reduction in metric tons. Millions of metric tons, excuse me. So you can see here that the reference case is this guy. He doesn't cost us anything. We continue to reduce carbon emissions on the current policy that we have. And we just left it there and said, that's where we're going to be our starting point. The carbon cap cost us about $1 billion. And remember, this is annually, so it'll add an additional $1 billion to rates to reach 1990 goals. And it does do that. It reaches those goals. The carbon tax is about $800 million a year. And renewables, you can see, takes us about halfway, and it's $2.1 billion. No new gas costs us $1.2 billion. So when you're voting, Remember these numbers. And we want to reduce carbon, but we want to do it in the least cost manner. This is pretty high level, folks, so if you have questions or something, I'll stick around after and be able to talk to you about it. This is a different way we looked at it. All these reference cases, this is the cost as time goes on. This is the gas reduction that you can see there. So the reference case doesn't do much for us because it's what we're currently doing. The carbon cap, as you can see, costs between $163 million and $1 billion. And if you can see over here where it says zero carbon, we get 92%, 95%, and then we get to 100% where their goals are. Renewables cost between $300 million and $2 billion. And if you scooch on over, you can see how we meet those goals. But this is the carbon reduction we receive. Not very much out of it because you have to build other generation because the wind doesn't always blow, the sun doesn't always shine. And then this is the carbon tax, excuse me. This is about $800 million. The cost, it gets us about 99% there. And again, this is annually. And no new gas is about $1.2 billion. So what does this mean? I mean, that's the question that we asked. The key findings that we discovered here is the most effective way to reduce carbon is to displace coal. We are currently doing that. There are, in the zero reference case, there's coal manufacturers or generators that are currently slated to shut down. If we go ahead and displace that coal, we have to replace it with some sort of energy. And the combination between energy efficiency, renewables, and natural gas is definitely the best way to go. We can't just choose one. We have to have a combination to maintain reliability. Excuse me. Just a fun fact, 80% of the electric sector's emissions come from our coal plants. So if those were shut down, our reduction would be by 80% in the electric sector. Renewables was the next item that we looked at. It is absolutely one of the most important factors in moving forward in the electric sector. However, it does produce higher costs and higher emissions, and that is because of the backup generation that's needed. So that is one thing that we need to look at. And again, that's because the wind doesn't always blow, the sun doesn't always shine. Okay, the third thing we found out is we cannot prohibit natural gas. It's not an effective way to meet our goals, the legislative goals. So we need that reliability, so we have to go ahead and still have some natural gas in our system. And also, we have to make sure that we keep our existing carbon-free generation, like the hydro plants and the nuclear plants. That's important for us. We don't want to remove those and then have to replace that generation. And one of the things that we have noticed with carbon policy, there's always a dollar amount attached to it. So that dollar amount, it's important for the electric sector that it's reinvested in the utility so we can reduce carbon emissions. We can help with energy efficiency. It's just not put in the general fund somewhere. We want to make sure that that happens. And energy efficiency is going to be super important in reducing carbon emissions. And there are a lot of things out there that we need to study. It may not have been cost effective 5 years ago, But it might be cost effective now, even though it was a little higher in cost, when we look at all these other items that we're talking about. And then there's always EV, electrification of vehicles. That would be a low cost measure to reduce carbon emissions as well. So after we studied that, we came up with more questions. This is a study, and we wanted to look at the reliability factor. How are we going to keep the lights on if we chose any one of those scenarios? And it dropped Friday. It's this thick. I've read through some of it, not the majority to be quite honest, but skipped to the back and got the summary, so I'm going to tell you that part. And when I really get into the nuts and bolts of it, I can come back and talk to you if you'd like. But it's interesting to me in the electric sector that if we remove the final 10% of carbon emissions, that to reach absolutely zero carbon emissions in the electric sector, it will cost 10 times more than the first 90%. That's amazing to me.
Can we see seed from Seattle?
Pardon me?
Can we see seed from Seattle?
Can we see seed?
Yeah.
What do you-
I don't
Well,
want to be part of Seattle anymore.
Yeah. Oh, recede. Okay, I gotcha. Succeed. Yeah. The other thing, and that's actually true.
Really?
To meet customer demand and reliability, it's not feasible for us to take away all thermal-based generation. It's just not feasible for reliability. Wind, solar, and storage, because it's so intermittent, it's about 29% reliable. Because of that, we need some thermal-based for customer demand. We need to turn it on quick when we have those cold spells, and then we can shut it down. And new natural gas is by far the most common way to meet reliability. And the reason why we say new natural gas is because some of the older plants are, quite frankly, they emit more carbon. They don't have the new technology that the newer plants have, and so they would actually be cleaner. So now we're going to get to our current legislative issues. This year, in what currently being discussed right now in session, the governor dropped a draft clean energy bill. We expect it to change 2 or 3, 4, 6 times in the next couple of weeks as he talks to groups and fine tunes this. It doesn't have a bill number yet. Representative Fitzgibbons has a House Bill 2338, and that focuses on carbon reduction, a lot in the transportation industry, a little bit in the electrical industry. And all of these things, wildfire, you've all heard about California, the PUD going bankrupt, pole attachments, all of these issues will put rate pressure if we can't shape this legislation. So it is very important that we educate our legislators. I'm meeting with all of the 19th and 20th district on the 28th of this month and the 30th. So we are going to go through these studies and make sure that they understand what they would be voting on. Last but not least, because I had to hurry, I'm almost out of breath. I want to talk to you about Bonneville Power Administration. BPA recently announced a 2.9% rate increase, and we buy our power from Bonneville. They also announced a 3.6% transmission increase. That is supposed to go into effect this year in 2019. Cowlitz buys 8% of the federal hydro system, and we get that from Bonneville. We are in contract with them. That contract runs out in 2028. We fully expect to be negotiating those contracts in the next 2 to 4 years. The problem is Bonneville right now is selling power to us higher than spot market. Now granted, Spot market is today's price. Might be $100 if there's a gas line break or something like that out of the normal. But we are currently purchasing power from a source that's always been less expensive, which is why we entered into a long-term contract. But we didn't put a cap on it. Nobody did. We didn't say you couldn't raise it X amount of dollars because they've always been so inexpensive. So this will, for sure, be the most important decision Cowlitz PUD makes in the near future. We have to figure out who we're going to buy power from, what it's going to cost, and what it's going to look like. We would prefer Bonneville to be cost-effective for us. That would be our preference. But right now, they're higher than spot market. So that's a big concern for us. It's a big concern for you as ratepayers, because we have to make sure we keep our costs as absolutely low as possible. And I did it. I can't believe it. I'm almost out of breath, but I'll take questions. Yes?
Everything you talked about with this carbon garbage has to do with power. What percentage of the carbon produced in the state comes from that coal-fired deal? Because you've got dumps, you've got industry, you've got cars, all the others put that carbon into the system.
So I can tell you that the electric sector is 15% of the total carbon emissions. Just the electric sector. The transportation industry is 40%. Building and industry is 30%, and agriculture is 5%. So as that slide showed, we're doing really good as far as carbon emission goes. The rest of the country, it's flipped. And so a lot of times, people from the environmental community want to talk to the electric sector because it's regulated. They only have to pass a law and collect the money from a few people. And it's kind of low-hanging fruit in the rest of the country. But for Washington, we're doing really good. If we do nothing, we are 91% carbon-free if we just continue with the current legislation. He had a question here.
Yeah. The last slide needs another bullet. What percent of the Cowlitz PUD energy comes from BPA?
About 85%. Most of it comes, most all of it comes from BPA. We have Swift, as you know, and we have wind in east of the mountains. But we basically use all of BPA's energy and then sell that back on the market. So if you kind of even that out, about 85–90%. Yes?
I'm sorry, I need a little clarification. When we use the proton G, was that Cowlitz PUD reference B that 80% of our power from coal?
No.
I must have misheard that.
Yeah, no, we get all of our power from Bonneville Power Administration, and they are very clean. It's the federal hydro system. What I said was 80% of our emissions in the state of Washington come from coal. We don't really buy any of that. We buy it from BPA, but there are coal plants up in Centralia and farther north, and so some of the electricity generated in the state of Washington gets it from coal. But Cowlitz is coal. Did you have a question, sir?
Oh, you answered it.
Okay.
What's the difference between power increase and transmission increase?
So power is on the kilowatts. So however many kilowatts you use in your house, that will increase by X amount. The power, the transmission, is the cost from us sending it from Bonneville down the highway, the transmission lines, to our facilities. So the transmission is a smaller percentage in your overall bill versus the actual per kilowatt hour. Yes?
I have a question. The abundance of coal in the world, why wouldn't we put some more technology-friendly technology into those coal plants such as the one at Centralia and stuff like that. I mean, it is expensive to have hydro, it's expensive to have solar, and coal is abundant, coal is cheap. Why not put the technology into more efficient coal plants? I mean, no, in Washington we have hydro, I give you that, you know, but across the country, I don't understand why we wouldn't work on the technology. Japan and Korea have it, why can't we have it?
We're all friends here, right? There are certain people that he might have mentioned that are not going to allow us to do that. They don't, the environmentalists want to protect our environment. I'm neutral from Switzerland here. They want to protect our environment, and they believe coal to be a dirty emitter. And to be fair, I mean, it is currently. And now the next step is natural gas. They're even wanting to remove that.
You just said that the old natural gas plants need to be removed.
They do.
You know, to me, it just seems like one-sided, and we're not exactly getting that mix, if you will, if we eliminate it altogether.
Sure. And they've been successful. The environmental community has been successful. Look at I-937. I mean, that sounded super when everybody voted on it. Oh, wouldn't you want more green energy? No one really talked about the cost associated with it, or the fact that we don't need any more energy. Why don't we just use what we have, and when we grow at that same level with maybe renewable energy. No one really talked about that. It just sounds so sexy when you sell it.
You know, power and energy, we suck it all up. We make it bigger and bigger and bigger. The need is.
I think I can take one more. He's sneaking over here. Go ahead.
With natural gas, one of our biggest resources, they burn it because we got too much of it. Why, I mean, I'm leaning toward coal sometimes, but the natural gas that we have lots of decades or hundreds of years yet, if we switch to natural gas, that doesn't have as much near as much emissions as any of the other.
So he wanted to know why, if we switch to natural gas, why can't we do that and switch from coal to natural gas? Some of the coal plants can be converted to natural gas plants. I mean, that is a possibility. I have no objection to it. I don't see why we shouldn't do it. And Cowlitz is not promoting any of these rate cases. We just wanted to figure out scientifically what was the least cost way that we could reduce carbon emissions, and how exactly would that affect our community if one of these things went into law. So that's why we're trying to educate our legislators right now, so they know that we do need a mix. There needs to be a balance. And all the incentives that the legislation keeps passing is kind of monkeying with the market. We need to try to just let the market be the market and let us grow in the most efficient and cost-effective way we can. Thank you.
That was a great last name. Well done, Dena. We noticed on your resume that you're not a member of any Lions Club, and we are going to provide you with an application to join. Well, you can just tell. Look at the intelligence that exists out here, the loveliness. Okay. Thank you, Ken. Also, that's an open invitation to join our club. We'd like to present to you a mug for your favorite beverage, whatever that might be. And we again thank you for a very intriguing and very intelligent presentation about the PUD needs of this community. So with that, Mr. President.
Looks like this will hold beer.
Well,
Dena, thank you very much for participating with us today. We really did appreciate it. You can have all those back.
I think that's her.
Thank you.
With that, we appreciate Dena taking part in this today. We also would like to remind you immediately following the meeting, over there by the ghost corner, will be a past presidents meeting. Please, all past presidents, please join them over there. With that, who ticket?
And what's left over goes to Gary Hill.
The lucky blue ticket, 233.
Yes.
80.
Yes.
How many are still in it? 6.
No.
1. 6, 0.
6, 0.
No, I said 1 left. 6, 0. 233, 8060. No. Judy, I'm sorry, we should have left it at 1. Want to bet? Lucky red ticket, 656705. Aha, where would you like that to go? Relay for Life. Thank you. Don't forget, on the 24th, our zone meeting in Castle Rock, we really want a good turnout from this club to show our pride. Don't forget to get in touch with JD back there to get tickets, because somebody from this group is going to win the ticket to Hawaii. He guarantees it in writing. That will be a first. We're about to make history, so stop CJD, get your tickets for the event. With that, don't forget to sign up for the Valentine's party going on, and sign up for Maryland's dinner up at Castle Rock. With that, thank you all for coming today, and